Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Craig Zilla coming at you with another piano tutorial. Today I'm breaking down Rock With You by Michael Jackson. Okay, so that'd be like the intro. Before we get into it though, there's a link in the description of this video to another video of me just playing through the whole song with the backing track. Be sure to check that out. It's just for you to use as a reference so you can see kind of how everything fits together. So yeah, anyways, let's get started with that intro, right? So the chords for the intro going to be E flat minor 9. Then you go to this A flat over B flat to a B flat major. E flat minor 9, A flat over B flat, B over C sharp. E flat minor 9, A flat over B flat to B flat major, and then G flat over A flat, G flat over A flat, A flat. Right, those are the chords. 3, 4. And you could play that just by itself, but there's a key synth line in there. That's right. So you want to try and get that in there if you can. Now I'll show you a couple different ways, like what I just did in the beginning of the video. I'm playing the chord and trying to get that line in there. First I'll show you the line. The first part of the line is like a B flat minor triad. I think of it like that, but you're arpeggiating it, right? So then you do the chord, right? And then I think of that almost as like a B flat minor 7, right? You're kind of outlining that chord with the line, and then after that, kind of like another B flat minor triad that you're kind of arpeggiating, you know, and then there's this string line that you can include as well. So if you don't have a bass player, you kind of want to be able to hold down that root note as well. So if I didn't have a bass player, no bass player, this is how I would do it. You know, it's kind of a stretch here in your left hand. If you can't reach it, no big deal. You can just do octaves and kind of do it like that. But if you can reach it, by all means, go for it. And then, right, do the 2 chords, and then now for that string line, you're just walking up the D flat major scale, and then coming back to that A flat. And when you land on that A flat, hit your chord, right? Now that's if I didn't have a bass player. If I had a bass player, I'd just come up here, I'd do a rootless voicing in my left hand, let the bass player do the root note, and then I would, right? So you're just focusing on doing those lines with your right hand there. and just doing the chords with your left hand. Same idea, just, I think it's a little easier to do it this way. So if you do have a bass player, that's what I would recommend, coming up there and doing it like that. Now, after the intro, you'll go into the verse. The verse is E flat, minor 9, G flat over A flat over B flat. And you can hit this little, on the second pass, okay, so the chords, E flat minor 9, G flat over A flat, and A flat over B flat, right? Once you get to that A flat over B flat, you can do a little embellishment here, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just come up here and hit this A flat and this F, kind of quick like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ba, ba. On the second pass, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Here you go. And you're gonna land on this G flat major 7 chord, which I would consider kind of the beginning of the pre-chorus. So that line, right? And this is one of those things too, where if you have a bass player, I would come up there and do it. The bass player would be down here. If you don't have a bass player, I would kind of do it maybe like this. My bad. Here, like this. Right? So I can kind of keep my hands down here to be able to hold down the root notes. But anyway, in any case, you land on that G flat major 7, right? And then D flat over F, or some cats will play it as a F minor 7, which sounds fine too. Then B major 7 and G flat over A flat. So again, this chord is kind of like, it could be D flat over F, or it could be F minor 7. It just kind of depends who you're playing with. I think on the record, it's a D flat major over F. But like I said, a lot of people play it as like a minor 7 chord. If you wanted to just avoid any clashing, you could play this chord, right? Which is like an F minor 7 without the 5. That way, if, let's say you're playing with a guitar player and they're playing a minor 7, there's no clash. Or if they're playing a D flat over F, there's also no clash. But if you're playing a D flat over F and they're playing a F minor 7, there's a little bit of a clash there, you know what I'm saying? So if you wanted to just be like kind of neutral and avoid any potential clash, you could just play it like that, right? Okay, so after your G flat over A flat, now this is where it gets interesting. Okay, there's a walk up. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So this walk up was giving me a lot of problems, because when I first learned this song, years ago, I always played that last chord as a G flat over A flat, right? But then when I was really listening to the song, I was hearing this note in there, and I was hearing, so I was like, oh, it's actually an A flat major chord there, right? But what I noticed when I was listening to hear this chord, I noticed there's a passing chord right before it, right? So there's this G. Over the G, there's a passing chord. And I kept listening to it. I couldn't tell what the chord was. So at this point, I kind of went down a rabbit hole. Okay, I found a video on YouTube of all the isolated tracks from the original studio recording. I'll leave a link to it in the description so you can see kind of what I'm talking about. But I said, okay, well, I'll listen to the isolated keys track and I'll figure out what's being played there. And what I heard was like, what? So the isolated keys track was doing this. So the isolated keys, the keys were doing this. They were doing the G flat over A flat, which is what I used to think it was. So I was like, oh, okay. But then almost none of that matched what I had before I listened to it. I had E flat minor 7, F minor 7, G flat major 7, this mystery G chord, and then A flat major. But what the keys were doing is E flat minor 7, D flat over F, G flat, just regular major, no major 7, over the G that was doing like a half diminished, maybe just a regular diminished chord, and then that sus chord over the A flat. So I'm like, okay, wait a minute now. That doesn't match what I had before. So, okay, let's listen to the guitar, right? So I listened to the guitar isolated track. Now, the guitar isolated track is doing this, which matches kind of what I had a little bit better, right? The E flat minor 7, the F minor 7. And then here it did a G flat major, a G major for the passing chord, and A flat major for the A flat. But how is the guitar doing this and then the keys are doing this? It didn't make sense, didn't match. So it brought more questions than answers, right? So I said, okay, what else can I listen to maybe give me some clues here? So I listened to the vocal track, right? I listened to the isolated vocals because there's vocal harmonies at this part. And the vocals are doing this. Right? There's one voice that's going. There's another one going. There's one that's doing this. And then, of course, there's the lead vocal. So all together, that would be what like the vocals are doing. So it's like, okay, wait a minute. Now, I'm just trying to figure out this passing chord over the G, right? So the guitar is doing a major, G major. The vocals are doing a B major over G. The keys are doing this G diminished. So I said, these can't all be right. I listened to the strings. The strings were doing this. So they're playing a C over the passing chord. So now I'm really going nuts because none of that really made sense to me. So I said, okay, you know what? Let's go back. We'll listen to the original track again and see, And what I noticed then was that I really couldn't hear the keys almost at all during that walk-up on the original track. The guitar I could hear a little bit, but it was still pretty low in the mix. And what stood out to me most was the vocals. And the strings, too, you can hear. So everything I heard on the isolated tracks with the vocals, I could hear on the final mix. And so that's kind of where I landed with this. It would be like if you wanted to play the passing chord, you could do kind of what the vocals are doing. I know it sounds weird, but if you play it like up to speed with the song, it actually sounds pretty good. And even though those strings are doing a C over that, it kind of sounded okay, I don't know how or why. I think the conclusion I came to was probably in post-production when they were mixing the song. I don't know, maybe they realized that everybody was playing something different, and so they lowered the the keys and the guitar in the mix a little bit and let the vocals kind of do the, you know, that's like what I think happened. I don't know. I guess at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because it's a passing chord that gets played for like less than a second, you know, fraction of a second. You'll play this chord, and honestly, I didn't even know this chord was there when when I first went to make this video. I didn't realize there was a passing chord there, and a lot of cats don't even play one when they get to that part. They just go. So you have options here as far as how you want to do it. You could skip the passing chord like I just did. Okay. You could play like what the vocals are going to do if you wanted to play a chord. That would be my recommendation. If you're going to do a passing chord, do this one. I know it's weird, but you know. And then there's also that final chord. You could play a sus chord there if you wanted, or a major. I would recommend the major because again, like that's what the vocal harmony is doing. It's what the guitar is doing. Everything but the keys basically is doing that. And the keys, like I said, are almost inaudible in the mix at that point in the song. So, yeah, if I was gonna say, that's what I would say to do. Again, now if you're playing this in a band for a gig, at rehearsal, this is something you'd want to make sure everybody's on the same page. You know, are we doing a passing chord there? Most of the time, no, I don't think. I think people just go. But you do want to make sure, you know, if you're on keys, you know, you want to see if the guitar player, is he doing a major there or G flat over A flat, right? What's the guitar player doing? Because you want to be on the same page with that. You know. Yeah, so anyways, sorry to go off on a tangent about that, but I spent too much time trying to figure out what that chord was, so I wanted to include all that in there in this video. So anyways, after that walk up, you know, you go into the chorus, which is just like the intro, but without the synth line, you know, so you can just play the chords. Right? So the structure of the song goes intro, verse, pre-chorus, chorus. Then it goes back into the verse, back into the pre-chorus, back into a chorus, and then after the second chorus, there's a bridge, right? Okay, so that bridge, the chords are going to be B flat minor 7 to E flat dominant 9 to G flat major 7 or major 9. You know, I like to put the 9 in there sometimes. And then D flat over F, B major 7, and then G flat over A flat. And you can kind of bounce those first two chords. Right? And then you can hold these ones. Right? And so that's how I would play it if I didn't have a bass player. If I had a bass player, I'd come up here and right? So some of those chords I'm doing rootless. I'm doubling the chord in both hands here, and I'm just, with my right one, bouncing it. Now this will be a rootless chord, right? And then for the G flat major 7, I would do that. D flat over F, I would do like that. For the B major 7, you know, like that, and then over the A flat. Okay. And then after the bridge, it goes into kind of a special chorus. And for this, there's another little synth line. So it would be like, okay, so that's like, I wouldn't worry about this little synth line unless I had a bass player, you know, because you kind of want to be able to do it with your right hand, you know. If you didn't have a bass player, you'd be focusing more on the root notes, right? But what that line is, little 3-note line, right? So what the chords are, though, they're the same as the chorus, but there's a little twist at the end. So E flat minor 9, just like before. A flat over B flat, B flat, E flat minor 9, A flat over B flat, B over C sharp, E flat minor 9, right? A flat over B flat, yeah, okay. There's this little thing at the end. So you throw in an extra chord, basically. A flat over B flat. You'll throw in this B flat over C before you get to the B over C sharp. So what that sounds like, 2, 3, 4, right? So you do that once, and on the second time there's a key change, right? So here we go. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, bow. Now we're up a half step. So all you're doing is, when you get to that B over C sharp, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, bow, right? Now you're just doing the chorus here, half a step up, but I'll go over the chords here. E minor 9, A over B, B major, E minor 9, A over B, C over D, E minor 9, A over B, B, G over A, G over A. No special extra chord, you know. Now that we're up half a step, we just play it like the normal chorus, but half a step up. That's all we're doing, right? And you can still do that line, like if you... And you know what? You can, I just remembered something. So you can, when you play that line, you can play the line over the E minor 9 or the E flat minor 9, depending on what key you're in. So you can play that line and then come down and play chords with both hands. So I'll show you in E flat. So you just play the line all right? You're just playing the line over the E flat minor 9 chord. So when you get to those other chords, you can use both hands to play them if you want. If you don't, you could also just just play it with the one. I think it sounds good though with the two. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So, anyways, that's the whole song. You get to that key change, and it just kind of repeats the chorus until the end of the song. Fades out at the end, and so yeah. Anyways, hopefully that helps you out. If so, please like, subscribe, and if you have any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, or requests, feel free to hit the comment section and let me know what you're thinking, how you feel. And yeah, that's it for this one. So until next time.